Hello there, this is the video for our assignment 2 for structured programming and database system. My name is Brennan Xiang and my group mate's name is Ray Louis Vicmark Richard and the lecturer for our course is Dr. Ahmad Sobri Hashim. So without further ado, let us go to the codes. So firstly, we should declare our library, and to use stream, we need to include the preprocessor directive, which is the include fstream, and include CMAF, which will be used for formulas, and as usual include iOS stream. Next, using namespace std. And before that, we will also like to declare the global variable to write output into a text files, which are offstream and my file and stream file. Offstream means that we will write an output in a file that names my file, which is the new file that we will generate, and uh, if stream means it will read from a file into the program. So here in main, my file dot open, this will be the new file that will be generated after this program. If stream file, it will read the file, the components in the file from the file tdb2413.txt, which is given in ulearn by Dr. Sobri. And here are the components that are given: number, ID, assignment, lab, project, test 1, test 2, and total coursework mark. So firstly, for part A, we would like to find the percentage of students who got A, B, and C. A, B, C, and F. So firstly, if stream read the file tdb2413, and we should declare the variable float. And if my file is open, and while the file is not at the end of file, it will read the one in tdb2413 A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, which literally means for the components in the file, text file, number, ID, number for A, ID for B, assignment for C, and so on until the last one, which is the total coursework mark. Using the if-else statement, by having the marks formula is equals to H times 2. But so using the if-else statement, we are able to determine the marks for the students and what grade they will have. So in our new generated file, it will show an output of percentage of students who got A, B, C, and F. Next is to get the grading category for the students. So if stream file again, which you will read the tdb2413 text file, we should declare our variable abc.ef abcdefgh marks and char grade. So if my file is open, my file will have an output of grading category alongside with number, ID, marks, and the grade. So while file is not at the end of file, it would read the file again, same like the previous one. And the marks formula is H times 2. So by using the if-else statement again, we are able to determine which student has the mark for A, B, C. And then in my file, the output will show A, which is the number of the student, B, ID of the student, marks of the student, and also the grade that the student obtained. So if file is at the end of file, it will break. Moving on to determining the students who undergo intervention. So students who undergo intervention are the ones that are obtain the mark below 60. So firstly, as usual, the program needs to read the file, the text file, and we should declare our variable. So if my file is open, it will generate an output stating students who undergo intervention alongside with the number of the student, the ID of the student, and the marks of the student. So while the file is not at the end of file, it will read the text file again, and the marks are C plus D plus E plus F plus G plus H, which is assignment, lab project, test 1, test 2, and total CM. So, by using the if statement, if the marks is less than 60, it will show an output of the number of the student, the ID of the student, the marks of the student. Hence, if file is at the end of file, it will break. So it will then again put out an output in our file that states the numbers of students who obtain the mark below than 60. Next, we want to find the students that obtain the mark below 40, because if the student has the mark below 40, they will be barred for the final assessment. So repeating the same procedure, it will read the text file, declaring our variables, and it will have an output of ID and total coursework. So while file is not at the end of file, it will read the text file again. And if marks is total coursework mark is less than 40, it will identify and give an output of B, which is the ID of the student and the marks of the student. So if file is at the end of file, it will break, and the output will be numbers of students who obtain the mark below than 40. Next is to declare for variance total sum of numbers, total square sum of numbers. Again, it will be needing to read from the text file, and variables will be needed, such as float A, B, C, D, E, H, float double F and double G, integer counter 1, integer counter 2. Counter is to help us to count the number of rows, and 1 is for test 1, 2 is for test 2. So while file is not at the end of file, it will read through the text file, and from the text file it will determine the value for test 1 and test 2 for the students, and the total sum of squares formula will be the marks multiplied by marks will be squared, as shown here and here for test 2. Next is the double average. The variable for average is double, and here we are able to obtain the mean for test 1 and test 2. So the average 1 equals to test 1 over the total of number in test 1, similarly to test 2. Next is the standard deviation, also using double, and here is the formula for variance, and here is the formula for standard deviation formula. Next, for the next part, median will be explained by my groupmate Ray, but before that I would like to show and prove that the program runs. So here will be the output of the program. This is the grading category. And since it will generate a new file, named TDB 2413 and report. The new file will be here, this one. And there will be the output that we have made in the program, and it will be displayed in this output file. Hence, the percentage of students who got A, B, C, and F will be this value. The grading category for every student, and students who have undergone intervention, which are students who have marks below than 60, total 9 students, and number of students who obtain mark below 40, which are 95 students stated here.
Hello, I will be explaining the coding from median all the way until the end, which is recommended. So for median, we'll start with setting the variables to calculate the median. So first of all, we need a counter skip 1 and counter skip 2. which will be integer, and then we set the initial value as 0, and median will be double because we need the decimal point, and then we initiate and then we set the initial value as 0 also, and then uh, we have to go into this loop, this not loop, this if else selection. So if counter 1 divide by 2 and the remainder equals to 1, then it will use this formula where counter skip 1 equals to counter 1 divided by 2, whereby counter 1 we already know it's the number of rows for test 1. So this is for odd number, and if counter 1 divided by 2 doesn't equal to 0, it doesn't equal to 1, then it will use this formula instead. And same thing for counter 2, which is for the number of test 2s, number of rows for test 2, and then we will open up the file. So if the file is not open, then it will see out unable to open, and it will return with a -1 value. And then if the file is open, it will run this while loop, where this while loop is to calculate the median. So when counter skip 1 does not equal to 0, the file will read the f value. F stands for the marks for test 1, and the counter skip 1 will keep decreasing until it reaches to the last value, which is 1, because it doesn't equal to 0. So after reading the file, after reading the marks f, then it will process this if else selection, where if the number of rows for test 1 divided by 2 does not have a remainder of 1, then it will run this formula for median, or else it will use this formula. Now same thing for counter skip 2, we'll be doing the same thing as counter skip 1 to calculate the median for test 2. And finally, once we're done with this, since we close the file here, so we need to open back the file using this if my file is open. So this is the output that we will be displayed on our text file, output text file. So first one will be showing the mean equals to average 1, mean for test 2, average 2, median, and so on. And if the file is not open, it will see out unable to open file. Next is this my file students will get 0 for assessment. This is a string that we want to display on the text file. And then input file string tdb2413.txt, and it will read all the values, same thing as the above. And then this cout is for the program. Cout is for the program. This my file is to display the output on the text file. And then while the file, which is this tdb 2413 doesn't equal the end of file, then it will keep reading the ABCD and GH. So for this one, we need the assignment marks, so which means it's C. So if C equals to 0, then it will produce this output, and to display the students who get 0 for assignment marks. So for lab exercises it's the same thing, and for project marks it's the same thing, and for test 1 and test 2 it's all the same, except you just need to change the variable here, whereby G stands for test 2, F stands for test 1, and then this is to create the recommender. So to create a recommender, separate text file, which is named recommender. So input file stream, you need to put the input file stream first, which is tdb2413, and then output file stream with a name of recommend file, rec file, and this is the name of the text file which will be output. So same thing, a b c d e f g h is to read the value from the strings from this file, and then we set the coursework mark equals to 100. So this is the output that will be on the recommended text file. And this is the while loop to calculate the recommended marks. So coursework mark will be 100 minus h, which is the total coursework mark, and then see out the value, and this will be the output on the recommended text file. And if the file reaches the end of file, it will break, and then finally it will return 0. Now to show the output of this program, of this coding, first of all we need to open the TDB2413 text file. If not, it will not work. So once it is open, you can compile and run. So as you see, it runs with no error, and once it runs until the end, you can exit this program, and the output file will be here. So for the median, it will be in this file, where the median will start from here. Median equals to 9.5, and median for test 2 equals to 22136. And then these are the output for all the other things. And then for recommender, these are the recommender for the minimum coursework to get grade A. So that's all for me. Thank you.